Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, we will learn how to do parallel execution in APM. These days, almost every company has its own mobile app. And if you belong to the QA space, then you should not manually test everything every time. So there comes the need to do automation. And if you are automating multiple flows in your mobile app, then it will take a lot of time for the execution to be completed. So there comes the need to do parallel execution. By doing parallel execution, you can save your time and you can also increase the test coverage of your script by running the same script across different devices and across different OS. So now let's get into it and see how we can do it. So I've already made the project structure. Let me just go through it once. So in the test.java, we have the base test inside which we'll be initiating our driver, and then we have two sample tests which will be extending the space test, and inside this sample test we'll be writing the @test annotation, and we'll be executing these two tests parallelly, the sample test and sample test 2. Inside the utils we have the element fetch, inside which we are basically fetching the elements on the basis of their identifier type and identifier value. So we are returning the element on the basis of if it's an ID, if it's CSS, tag name or XPath. And then I've already taken up all the elements from the calculator app and I've put it here. And inside the calculator events, we will be operating on all the elements which are present on the calculator app. If you want to learn how to make a framework from scratch, then I've already made the video for that and I've given the link in the description. So do check it out. Now let's go to the base test and start with the coding part. So as we will be executing a script parallelly, we need to have a thread local driver here. So I'm making a thread local driver here. This will be of type APM driver. And then we will be making a getter setter of this particular driver, which will be like public void set driver APM driver this dot driver dot set. And now we will be having the get driver method. So this will be returning the driver, return this dot driver dot get. That's it. And now we will be writing a method inside which we will be adding all the desired capabilities, and then we will be setting up the driver. So I'm using before method annotation here, inside which I will be making a method initiate driver. So this method will be taking three parameters. One will be device name, another will be platform version, and the third one will be the port number. So I will be executing my parallel execution on the simulators, so I don't really need the UUIDs here. However, if you are running your script on the real device, then you need to add another parameter here, which you can name string UUID. And then you can add that in the capabilities as well. However, I'm running it on the emulator, so I don't really need this particular parameter here. The port number I'm adding here because I will be initiating the APM service. So I need to mention on which particular port number I will be initiating that particular APM service. So now I will be adding the desired capabilities here. So we have initialized the desired capabilities. Now let's start adding them. Dot set capability device name. So this we will be adding whatever we will be getting as the parameter, and then same will be for the platform version. And And currently we will be running the script on Android, so I will be adding the platform name as Android here. Now let's add the app package and the app activity name here. App package, which will be com.android.calculator2, and our activity name will be, so this I will be writing app activity and the name will be dot calculator. So that's it. So we have added all the desired capabilities here. Now we will be initializing our driver, and for that we will be using a set driver method here. So I'm using set driver new Android driver, as we are currently running the script on Android only. Here we will be inserting the URL. Along with that we will be sending our capabilities here. So usually the URL is of the format http://127.0.0.1:4723, which is the default port, /wd/hub. However, as we will be running this script parallelly, so we need to have two port number here. So we will be parameterizing this particular port number. So I'm copy pasting this URL and I'm sending it here within the codes. However, as I need to parameterize this, I will be separating this and putting plus port number and another plus and then the code. So yeah, the port number has been parameterized now, and I guess I need to add the exception to the method here. So yeah, that's it. So now as we have parameterized this particular method, we will be getting all these values from the test.ng file. For that we need to use the @parameters annotation here, inside which we will be adding the values here. So this will be device name, comma, platform version and the port number. Now let's write the method through which we will be starting our APM service. So I'm writing the method in the same class only. However, you can write this particular method in a different class as well. Public void start APM service. And I will be sending the port number in this particular method here. And here we will be having APM driver local service. And we will be having APM service builder here. Builder equal to new APM service builder. And we will be setting the IP address now. With IP address, here we will be sending the 127.0.0.1. You can parameterize this particular IP address as well if you want to, and then we will be sending the port number here. So this will be the port number that we will be getting as the parameter. So as we have sent the port number as a string, because we will be getting it from the test.ng file, we need to convert it into integer. So we will be using integer dot parseInt, and then we will be sending the port number like this here. And now we will be initiating our APM driver local service, which can be done like service equal to APM driver local service dot build service, inside which we will be sending this builder. So it will be initializing the APM driver local service on this given IP address and the port that we will be sending through this particular method. And then we just need to start the service, for which we will be using service.start. And we can put a logger here as well, that the service has been started with port number this. And now our method is ready to start the APM service. So we will be calling this method in the before method. So we can call this method here, start APM service, inside which we will be sending the port number here. So it will be automatically starting the APM service before our execution. And now we can write the after method as well here. So where we will be basically closing the driver. So I'm writing close driver as the name, inside which I am writing get driver dot quit. So yeah, that's it. So now our base test is completely ready. Let's go to the event class now and write the code to operate on the elements which are present on the calculator app. So here I'm writing one method which will be, I'm just naming it as the first method here, and I will be writing another method which will be called from the second class. So I'm naming it as the second method. So as we will be requiring the driver here as well to send it to the get element method, so now let's declare the driver here. We will be using apm driver, and then now let's make a parameterized constructor here, public calculator elements apm driver, and inside which we will be setting as this dot driver equal to driver. So this is done. Now let's write the first method and the second method here. So I'm making the instance of the element fetch class here, and now I will be operating on those particular elements dot get web elements. Here it is basically taking three parameters. First one is the driver, second is the identifier type, and third is the identifier value. So I will be sending the driver here and then the id as the identifier type, and then I've already taken all the elements from the calculator app, so I will be operating on those now. Calculator elements dot digit one dot click. So it will be basically clicking on the digit 1 on the calculator app, and now I am purposely adding a thread dot sleep here so that we can see the execution clearly and it doesn't move really fast. So I am putting a wait of 1 second here, and now same I will be doing for the different operators. So I'm just copy pasting this. So here I can operate on the plus operator, and then I will be adding digit 5 here, and then I will be basically operating on the equal operator. So it will be basically adding 1 plus 5, and then it will be giving me the result. So in the similar manner I can have the second method as well. Let's have a different operator there. I can use digit 8, and then I can use a multiplication operator there with the digit 2, and then the equal part will be same, and then I need to surround it with the exception. So yeah, that's it. So now our methods are also ready. We just need to call them from the sample test classes. Let's go there and let's write the @test and then public void first execution method. Here I will be calling that particular method from the calculator events. So here we need to send the driver as well, as we have used the parameterized constructor there. So basically we are sending the value of the driver which we are basically setting in the base test to this calculator events, and here it is putting the value into its local driver. So now coming back to the sample test class, and now we just need to call the method there, which will be the first method. So yeah, that's it. Similarly I will be doing it for the sample test 2 as well, and here we will be calling the second method. So yeah, everything is ready, the code part is ready. Now let's go to the testng.xml file and see how we can actually run this code parallelly. So usually we have a testng.xml file like this, inside which we have a class and then surrounded by the test and surrounded by the suit name. So now we need to make the changes here so that we can basically execute our script parallelly. So as our base test is expecting 3 parameters from the testng file, let's add those parameters here. So for that I will be going inside the test tag and I will be writing parameter here along with the name and the value. So as we are sending 3 parameters into the base test, let's copy paste it. Now let's go to the base test to check what all is expected. So one is the device name, then we have the platform version, and then we have the port number. So same, we will be having another test here so that we can execute it parallelly. So this I am naming it as the second test. These all will be same here, and here it will be sample test 2. Now let's add the values for these particular parameters. So here I am adding the port number as 5555 and I'm putting the platform version as 9 and the device name as Pixel 3, and similarly I will be adding the port number here as 6666. The platform version will be 8.1 and the device name will be Nexus S. So I will be basically starting 2 emulators from the Android Studio, which will be Pixel 3 and the Nexus S, and then we will be executing a script parallelly onto those devices. So we just need to mention parallel equal to test here so that these 2 test tags run parallelly. So now everything is done. We have done all the coding part and it is ready for the execution. However, let's recap whatever we have done till now. So we have a base test inside which we have a thread local APM driver, and then we have the setter and the getter method of that particular driver. We have a before method annotation inside which we are starting the APM service, and then we are putting all the desired capabilities, and then we are setting up that driver along with the URL that we are basically sending it. Then we have the sample test and the sample test 2 class inside which we are basically calling the method. So we are calling the first method here and we are sending the driver which we are setting up in the base test onto the calculator event class, inside which we have the 2 methods, first and the second, in which we have written the logic to operate on the digits which are present on the calculator app. So now let's go back to the testng file XML and let's try to run the code. So I'm changing the port number to 777 here as the emulator is basically already occupying the 5555 port here. Now let's run the code and I'm opening the both the emulators here as well so that we can see the execution. So as you can see, both the calculator apps has been opened parallelly and the execution has been done. So yeah, we have successfully executed our script parallelly onto 2 Android devices. So similarly, you can execute your code parallelly and you can divide the load into 2 halves. First half you can put in this particular classes tag and the second half you can put in this particular classes tag, because the test tags are getting executed parallelly. So when you're now executing the code, both the test tags will be executed parallelly and the execution time will be divided by 2. And now comes the question that what if that you want to run your script parallelly on both Android as well as iOS device. So that is also really very simple. You just need to go to the base test, and what you can do, you can add another parameter here which can be string platform type, and then on the basis of the platform type you can set the device name, the platform version, platform name, everything else. So let's say if the platform type dot equals ignore case Android, everything will be same. Else if this platform type is iOS, then you can set the capabilities accordingly. However, this set driver needs to be changed. It should be iOS driver here as you are running the script on iOS. and then you can add the device name here, the platform version and the platform name as well. And on the iOS we usually have the bundle ID, so instead of the app package or the app activity, you can write the bundle ID here. And this particular platform type you can get it from the testng file, so you need to add this particular parameter here as well, which will be platform type. And then similarly you can do the changes on the testng file as well. So here you can add another row which will be platform type, and then you can add Android here, and similarly iOS here, and then you can change these values as well, and it will run completely fine. However, the XPath or the IDs can be different for the Android and to the iOS, so you need to handle that as well if you are trying to run the same code parallelly onto Android and iOS. So yeah, that's it from my side. I hope that you have liked the video and you have learned something from it. Please like, share and subscribe, and do let me know the feedback in the comment section. Thank you everyone.